lived for this kind of digital sleuthing. 15 minutes later, a folder landed on my desk. Dominic Stone, 31, managing director at Obsidian Capital, high social media presence, frequent attendee of charity balls and private equity mixers. The last page was a photograph. At a winter gala 3 months ago, Dominic was wearing a forest green Hugo Boss tuxedo. Standing beside him, in a crimson Dior gown, was Madeline. Her hand was tucked firmly into the crook of his arm. The date on the photo was November 14th. That was the night Madeline told me she was pulling an all-nighter at the office to finalize the quarterly reports. She told me not to wait up. I opened my calendar and marked that day with a small red dot. Adrian, you look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, Miles. At noon, I took a cab back to our apartment. My father was in Florida for the winter, so the place was empty except for the housekeeper. I went into the study, opened the floor safe, and pulled out a manila envelope. Inside was the complete provenance of the watch, the limited edition certificate from Rolex, the Geneva Seal certification, the original purchase contract from my grandfather, and the notarized deed of gift he'd signed before he passed. Donor, James Alexander Sterling. Donnie, Adrian Sterling. Property, Rolex 713 OR-001, serial 003. The red notary seal was embossed 6 years ago. The day my grandfather gave me that watch, he held my hand with a grip that was surprisingly strong for his age. Adrian, he'd said, this was the last gift your grandmother gave me. No matter what happens in this life, never let it go. It's not just a timepiece, it's the weight of a lifetime of promises. I scanned the deed into my phone and put the original back in the safe. As I was heading for the door, the housekeeper, Mrs. Gable, stopped me. Mr. Sterling, your father-in-law stopped by a few days ago. He was asking where your father's jewelry collection was kept. I didn't let him into the study, of course. I froze. When was this? Last Thursday. He kept asking about that jade set your father owns. He was quite insistent. Last Thursday. Madeline took the watch on Wednesday. My hand tightened on the doorknob until the wood groaned. When I got home that evening, Madeline was in the living room on a call. Seeing me, she lowered her voice, whispered, "I'll call you back," and hung up. Adrian, perfect timing. I wanted to talk to you. She patted the cushion beside her, gesturing for me to sit. I remained standing. Dominic is incredibly impressed with the project proposal, she said, her voice light and airy as she crossed her legs. We might sign the framework agreement as early as next week. See, I told you it would only be a couple of days. He posted on social media calling it a gift, Madeline. Her legs uncrossed. Her smile faltered. What? I handed her my phone. She stared at the screen for 5 seconds. A small frown appeared between her brows, then vanished as quickly as it had arrived. He's just posturing, Adrian. People in his position need to maintain an image. Calling it a gift sounds better for his brand. I have it under control. The moment the contract is signed, I'll get it back. Madeline, it's a $20 million heirloom. You don't have it under control when it's on another man's wrist. She stood up and walked to the kitchen island to pour a glass of wine. Can you please try to have some perspective? This is a $300 million deal. What is one watch compared to that? When this closes, I'll buy you something even better. Whatever you want. Something better. There were only 3 in the world. What could possibly be better? The doorbell rang. Madeline went to answer it. Dad, what are you doing here? My father-in-law, Arthur, walked in wearing a cashmere overcoat, his hair perfectly coiffed. He was carrying a thermal container. Madeline told me you were feeling a bit stressed lately, he said, setting the